Greetings everybody, coming to you from my 2014 Mercedes Benz GL250 Bluetec with 179,597 miles on it. So I haven't been driving this a whole lot. I've been favoring my S350 for nice weather driving. I tend to drive this one more in the winter, so this one really hasn't gotten out a whole lot. And so it's interesting what's happened to this car after it's been doing more sitting than driving. I have driven it at least once a week, but this may be the first time I've taken it out for a somewhat extended drive. And what I noticed and what I'm thinking is going on here, so as I was first starting to drive it, once I got up to 60 miles an hour or whatever, there was kind of a booming sound going on. It's still happening a little bit. I thought part of it might be flat spots on the tires, because even though these are small, they're still pretty heavy. But I think more the problem is these brake rotors have always been very quick to build up rust. I could hear like a scraping noise as I was leaving my house, but it was pretty loud. So what I did, I got up to about 70 miles an hour or so, and then did a couple hard stops, and for the most part that seems to have cleaned it up. This drive here is going to be at least a half hour to get everything fully up to temperature, and basically get all the fluids moving and whatever, just to keep this thing healthy. Because when we get back to the colder weather, this one's going to be my primary driver that I'm going to rack up the miles on again. No plans to sell this one. I plan on keeping it. It's not like I can replace it with a new one. I mean, yeah, there's some out there for sale, but this one is known. For those of you who haven't seen my earlier videos, I had a bunch of work done that actually covered common issues under the AEM warranty, which is long gone now on this car. I think I'm like at least 10,000 over, but really, let's see, I had those repairs, I want to say, at like 161,000 maybe. And well, it's been pretty trouble-free since then. Let's see here, let me do a little acceleration and hit the brakes again. Yeah, I think the brakes are cleaning up. That beep beep is my camera. It is pretty sensitive to sudden changes in G-forces. But yeah, it's not really booming as much. It's still not perfect. I like these back roads where there's basically no cars on them, so you can do stuff like that. But yeah, other than having some work done at about 161, 162, I had like the intake manifold replaced and the fuel filter housing, and then all the gaskets associated with that. And then I think at 164, the NOx sensor or sensors got replaced. Since then, no issues whatsoever with the emissions equipment, or well, with the car in general. It's actually been pretty reliable. I've personally put a little over 35,000 miles on this, and haven't even had to do brakes yet. I did have to do tires. Well, I have two sets of tires snow tires and the tires that are on it now. Let's see, let me get up to speed one more time here. Yeah, it's getting quieter. And once again, the thing is alerting me that it doesn't like when I put the brakes on like that. I don't know. I may take this out a little more frequently now that I know it really doesn't like to sit. Maybe I'll drive it a couple times a week and keep everything up on it. But yeah, I like to keep on top of all the maintenance on my cars and address issues as they pop up, unless they're just insignificant. Sometimes I'll ignore stuff that's very insignificant or doesn't matter, but anything that's meaningful or anything related to maintenance, I'm on top of. Like, I mean, when I say insignificant, like something that really doesn't bother me, like on my CLK convertible, the driver's door mechanism that holds it in place, like when you open it, that actually hasn't worked since I bought the car, and I actually have the replacement part. I just haven't wanted to tear apart the door panel and get into that. So I guess the hassle of replacing it was more for me than just dealing with the door the way it is. It's not like on some of the older Benzes where if that thing would freeze, it could actually go through the door shell. It's nothing like that. It's just the stops don't seem to work. I don't know, maybe one of these days I may get around to replacing that. And that's a car I don't drive very often either, but it doesn't seem to mind as much as this one does. I'm gonna go up this pretty steep hill. Well, it's kind of weird. Giving some good acceleration. Blow out the carbon. I'm definitely a believer in driving, well, all cars, especially diesels, hard. The heat does them well. Yeah, this thing seems to be smoothing out now, so I think it's good. Yeah, it was pretty rough when I first started out driving today, but definitely going to drive it more frequently now that I know that. The brakes ought to be pretty cleaned up. The rear brakes, I think, are the culprits, really. And the front brakes generally stay pretty clean. And it's been an issue the whole time I've had the car, if it sits. All right, well, that's it for the update on this car. All right, have a great day, everyone. So a little add-on. It would appear as if I have a sticking caliper back there. Let me compare the other side. Yeah, significantly different temperatures. So it looks like that is something that's going to need to be addressed sooner rather than later. Yeah, that's just way too hot. And you can see the rotor itself is kind of messed up. Well, I'm going to get an appointment for that. And oh, yeah, it's actually burning. Well, I don't think I want to mess with that myself. So that's the update. So this is the next day. I'm just taking it on a drive. See what the temperature is. So 190-ish on that side. It is definitely a bit warmer on that side, but not critical levels. So I think I can probably drive it to the dealer. It is hanging up a little bit. Yeah, I definitely need to get that addressed. Normally I do brake work on my own, but I banged up a couple of my fingers, so I don't really feel like getting into that, so I'll just probably have the dealer do it.